back to Brunch, A Taste of Tobago. Thank you so much for returning. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do here on Tobago Updates Television. And of course, it's a wonderful Wednesday on the island of Tobago, and our health corner is very much a staple of what we do on Brunch, A Taste of Tobago. Wednesdays are that day for our lovely segments, our health corner. I look forward to those discussions. And I'm so happy, I'm so privileged to welcome my first guest for today. He's actually a brother of mine, a brother from another mister, if I could say it that way. And he has been a part of the Brunch set before, and I take the time to welcome Mr. Roston Woods to the set. Now, for those of you who know Roston, for my avid followers, you would remember Roston speaking on physiotherapy and speaking on the relationship between the chiropractic medicine and, of course, the physiotherapy medicine and practices. And so we're here with Roston. So Roston, thank you so much for being here with me again.
And thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, we have so much to talk about, sir.
Yes, and compliments of the season to you and your family and
thank you.
The whole of Tobago, and by extension the wider community.
Definitely, and same to you, and all the best to you. You know, one of the things that is a buzz right now, and I think it's because we have so many areas where persons are physical. So the discussion has moved from just being about sports. Mm-hmm. And so I found it so fitting that you're here today to really speak on some of these issues that we face. So we're identifying injuries, the identification of injuries. And what are some of the signs that can be used to determine that someone is physically compromised or not physically where they should be in their lives?
Okay, we'll just break it down into two signs. One, as physical therapists, we have to be very, very observant. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at an individual's natural movement, either while they are at rest or while they're in motion. And if you see any alteration in that natural movement, then you will know that something is wrong. That's the first thing. And the second thing is guarding of the area. So if you are looking at an individual and you're seeing that they are either holding a particular area for any significant period of time, then you'll pick up that something is wrong. Mm-hmm. So those are the two areas. One, if there's any alteration in the natural movement of that person, whether if they're in a static position or if they're in motion, or if they're guarding the area.
You know, that brings me to the other question that I have, because I'm thinking injury prevention. And this is so wide because it's not just being involved in, like I said before, a sport. There's so many other physical activities. You know, let's break that down. Let's break that down to our dynamic here in Tobago. You know, we are so cultural. We are so embedded in, you know, our oral and African traditions, and we love our African dancing and folk dancing, and we love our Latin flavor with the ballroom dancing, and you know, we are just theater all the way, and we do so much that is physical. Let's delve into that as to what are some of the challenges that would come about in that respect, in that forum.
Okay, so the first thing is that we have to take all of these activities seriously. Mm-hmm. We have to look just the same way how we would look at a professional athlete. Dancing, we have to look at it from a professional perspective. Right. So almost the same or very similar, the same activities that you would do to prepare for an event. it's the same thing that you would probably need to do, or with just a little alteration that
Right.
you need to do in order to prepare for performance. Okay, so you have to look at what you do in your off season. The same way how an athlete need to pay particular attention what they need to do in their off season, probably work on their fitness and stuff like that. A dancer needs to be fit as well. Strengthening, strengthening of the joints, the hip, the knees, the ankles, the same way how the core strengthening exercise. These are a lot of things that some of these athletes would do in your preseason leading up to into the season and into an event. It's the same way how a professional dancer, and we do have professional dancers in Tobago,
Right.
right? And we take them from Tobago and we carry them to Trinidad. Sorry, carry them to the outer world. And these individuals who are representing our island have to be performing at a particular level. And in order for you to do that, you don't just come off of the side of the street and just go and give an excellent performance. You have to learn how to take care of your body and prepare for a performance. So it's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah. And do you think that we take the preparation process, because we are so naturally talented and naturally gifted, do you think that we take that part of our physical preparedness, you think we take that for granted?
No, we don't. No, we don't, and it's something that we all are guilty of. We definitely don't take care of our bodies. So
Right.
I am certain that many of our performers would have issues with their back, issues with their core, issues with their hips and knees and stuff like that, and as simple as endurance. And because we are quote unquote so talented, that we would take the preparation into these events very lightly. And then when you perform and you don't perform at the best, you may wonder, well, what is really going on? And the thing that we don't pay attention to is, what do we do before the performance? Are we stretching properly? Are we going through the correct strengthening program in order to perform that activity good or even better? Not because you're talented and you might think that you are performing at a good level. It doesn't mean that you can't perform better.
Yes.
Not because an athlete is running at a not because an athlete is performing at a particular level, it doesn't mean that he can't perform better. And we cannot just think that because we have a raw talent that we ignore all the things that we should do in order to prepare for that event which we're working towards.
You know, I love the fact that you merged physical activity, you merged sports and dance into one, because it really speaks to our dynamic here. Sports is such a buzz. It's always regarded at a high level. We have so many young athletes that are coming up. We have so many athletes that are performing regionally and internationally. And whenever you're putting so much pressure on your body, on your physicality, on your core, as you mentioned, then the preparation becomes the order, or should be the order of the day, in terms of making sure that you are strengthened, making sure that you are in tip-top shape. And you know, this brings me to the risk factors, because you made such a wonderful point just now, where you made the statement that, okay, being talented or being gifted is just that, being talented or gifted, but the preparation that needs to happen, you know, taking that extra attention on strengthening, on building, on making sure that you, because nutrition comes in as well, the nutritional factor. I know of persons who are very physical, but a usual day is whatever you can find, and it's usually fast food.
Something I want to throw into the mix. Long time, people used to look at athletes from a later age. Now we are looking at athletes from even from a kindergarten level.
Yes.
And what we don't pay attention to is what are we doing during the holiday period. So just like a professional athletes in their off season, we have two major holidays, which is the summer, which is from the July,
July.
August,
Yeah.
right? August, which is the best month of the year. I must just insert that, right? And then,
Okay.
and then, and then over the Christmas period. These are some off seasons. So just from July, August, we have in the secondary schools and in the primary schools, we have our football leagues and stuff. And then now over the Christmas period, we have all the other sports like the track and field and stuff like that, right? So what are we doing? What are we doing during this off period? What are we doing to train these little kids coming up? How to be professional? How do you take care of your body, right? And we talk about the risk factors.
Yes.
So your diet, we know over the Christmas that we will tend to eat and drink a little extra than we normally would, right? How would that affect our performance, especially for the track and field athletes? What are you doing during the December period? We diet, we look at our strengthening program, our diet strengthening, what else? Our core strengthening exercises and
Core,
stuff
yes,
like
that
that.
core.
Our techniques in our
Yes.
sports. These are the time which we should, even our endurance. Yes, these are the times that we would that our program we should have a good solid off season program, so that as soon as school starts, all these activities will normally come. And it's very demanding on these kids, and we would want these kids to do excellent, right? We've seen that there are some secondary school within netball, they were very successful also, but not because you win by I'm not too certain about the points, but not because you might win by 1 point or 2 point. It doesn't mean that you can't win by 10, 15 points, as I'm saying.
Yes.
Not because you're talented and you think that you're performing at a certain level. And I just want us to, when we leave, to reiterate that point.
Yes.
That not because you're performing at a certain level, it doesn't mean that you cannot do much better than how you're performing. And this is the kind of lifestyle that you need to adapt. What are you doing during your off period, during the off season period? What are you doing during the season? And what are you doing for the event? And then if there's an injury, what do you do after?
And you know, it's so fitting that you said, "What are you doing on your off season?" Because sometimes we're not really doing anything physical on the off season, and then the season opens again, and we want to move in guns a blazing, and then boom, we're injured.
Exactly.
So it's so fitting that you mentioned that. One of the things that I noticed also, and we're going to take a break in a short while, and when we come back, we'll continue. One of the things that I noticed also is in terms of your logistics, your environment, whether at work or at home, and how it relates to physiotherapy treatments. And sometimes the two do not go hand in hand. Because let's say I am doing physiotherapy for whatever reason, and my physiotherapist gives me my exercises that I should do. He also indicates that my environment there are key points and factors that I should observe within my environment. So it could be as simple as, you know, your couch is not firm enough, or you know, certain factors that seem basic but play such a major role in how you heal, in how you make your life better. So we are going to take a break. We're going to talk economics when we get back. We're going to take a break, guys, and we're going to be right back with more brunch, a taste of Tobago. See you guys soon. Welcome back, guys, my kings and queens. You are doing so well today. Thank you for staying. Thank you once again for inviting me into your space, into your home, into your lives, and into your mid morning. Yes, yes, indeed. Remember, we are live on Facebook, the Amplia Network 102, and of course, YouTube. So I'm back with my very good friend, Roston, and we're speaking on physiotherapy. We're speaking on the factors, the risks involved, injury prevention, you name it, and we have it right here. But this is such an important aspect that I do not want to leave out, and it's the ergonomics that include your environment, your home, your workspace. How does this affect your physicality? How does this affect your way of life, your daily routines? So welcome back, Ruston, again. And let's go into those ergonomics. Let's go into the challenges that we face in your line of work. Someone comes in. Let's paint the picture. Someone comes in with whatever issue, whatever problem, whatever physical confinement that they may have, and they go back to their homes. What are some of the instances that something that is not positive may arise when they go back home after doing therapy?
Okay, I'm glad that you asked that question because it sheds a light on exactly some of the things that we do. As physical therapists, we don't just treat what is in front of us. Our job is to look at or examine this individual holistically. We have to look at the activities, what they do at home, what they do at work, what they do for pleasure, right? And see how did it impact on their condition when they present to us. So it's not necessarily as simple as what you're saying. Is that yes, for example, a patient might come to you with a back pain, and yes, even though we can treat that pain, we also as physical therapists would also look at all the activities. And for all you know, just as you said, it might just be is that, we all have this favorite chair that we always sit on, or that bed that we would lie down, but there's a zinc in the bed that we love that one spot in the
Yes,
area.
and sink
And it's as
into it.
right, and it's as just simple as changing the bed. I wanted to say and just interject this to employers and supervisors. If your worker isn't present or isn't working as it should, then it affects productivity. So as physical therapists, we also go into the workplace, and we would have, once invited, we would have conversation with the employers and also the employees, teaching them proper ergonomics, teaching them exactly how to take care of themselves, right? So that they can be producing better. So physical therapists do have a role in the workplace as well too, and also in the home. So sometimes we do go into the homes. We would look at, of course, we do house visits as well.
Right.
And we would treat patients at home as well, and we have to be observant as well too, to prescribe the correct exercise for them in order for them to get better and do well.
Let's talk about, and this is a good one, laptops. Laptops, laptops, laptops. I see it all the time. I see it every day. I myself am guilty. Guys, I don't front. I keep it real with you. I myself am guilty of sitting with the laptop on my lap. Hours are passing, staring at the screen. What am I doing wrong? And why is it wrong?
Well, first, the laptop, and by extension, phones, iPads, etc. Initially, they were designed to be used for short period of time, but it has evolved for you to use these devices for extended period of time. So what happens is that we are putting our bodies in static positions for an extended period of time, and nobody should be doing that. So unconsciously, and especially when if you are so passionate about your work and stuff, without even paying attention, you might be in front of a laptop, right, for an hour, 2 hours, right? Sometimes we might not have a TV in our house or so, and we would sit down and we would do our work, watch a movie, chat with our friends, everything in just being in this static period for a long period of time. And that could affect you, right? So a patient coming into me and telling me or telling a physical therapist that, hey, I'm getting a back pain and I'm getting a neck pain, right? Even though I might treat that individual, we're not really solving the problem, because that problem is that you are spending too much time on the laptop
On your device.
or on your device.
Yeah.
So it's not just giving you an exercise prescription. We also advise as well too, right? So in the workplace, we come into your workplace, we would advise on the correct position of your laptop and stuff, and your chairs and stuff, right? So we would prevent the worker from getting sick or being in a position that they can't perform as well, and obviously they will take a lot of sick leave, and they wouldn't work, so your productivity will drop, right? And that's in the workplace. And now outside of the workplace, now even in schools, right, if there's a child that is suffering from a lot of back pain and stuff, right, then that child wouldn't go to school. It would affect their performance, right? So this is where the conversation of a physical therapist, that's where we come in. We are also there and the role of a physical therapy is to prevent, right, treat when there's an injury, and then rehabilitate. And if we can catch these things from before, right, many of us are sitting there with a lot of issues, a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and it's just to have the conversation.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes we are so busy, so we are so occupied in our activities that sometimes we just need somebody to say, hey, pause a little. Let's just see what you're doing wrong, and let's just see how we could correct what you're doing wrong in order to perform, as I said before, to perform better. Because you might think, as I said before, and we're going to say it over and over again until the interview is finished.
Yes.
You might think that where you are is at a good level, but you could be performing way better. And it's not in relation to sports. It could be in the office. It could be in school, right? It depends. And just having a conversation with a physical therapy could also help.
And we definitely need to be open to such conversations.
Definitely.
Because many people still are not. We find, you guys, when we are very much compromised. We don't do preventative. We're always reactive. So we find you when we're already compromised. And
Correct.
I'm saying the narrative may seem basic, but it's something that has to really, really change. And I say this because we also have the youngsters who are coming up. And I see so many of my princes and princesses with these heavy bags on their backs. And I actually saw a young man a week ago, and he was already bent into a position. So he was bent almost all the way over, and he's walking to school in that posture. And it got me to thinking, what are we doing with regards to the conversation? And I know that my parents are looking on, and the book bags are way too heavy sometimes. Could we look into, what are some of the things that we could look into to really correct that? I know we have those pulley bags, we have the trolley bags. Should it be a mandatory thing that we desist from the heavy backpacks, because the backpacks are really heavy, really, really heavy.
Well, when I was in primary school and stuff, even though our bags were heavy, it wasn't that heavy, right? And now with these other with a lot of we're having a lot of books that is getting heavier, that are getting
Yes.
heavier, and that is something that we definitely need to pay attention to. Probably we should start weighing our bags if it comes down to that. That what is the weight of what a child could really take compared to the weight of the bag on a normal day. These are some of the things that we need to pay attention to, and as physical therapists, and if a patient comes into us with back issues, especially as long as they are, definitely we can't just treat. Just can't treat what we are seeing. We definitely have to look at what are you doing with your child that is causing this child to have this problem at a very young age. Also, this is a season for gifts. And remember, long time for Christmas, in all the stores we would see vehicles with bikes and we would make toys and gifts for our children to go outside and play. So the question, we as adults, parents, relatives, what are the gifts that are we giving our children for Christmas? Is it causing them to have a sedentary lifestyle, or is it causing them to go out and play?
Yes.
And you have to look around your house, parents and relatives who have to take care of children. Is the things that you're giving your children on a daily basis, is it causing them to be more active? Is it causing them to get stronger? Right? Long time everybody used to have a kite. Now we're flying a kite on a tablet.
Yes.
Understand?
While sitting.
And we used to go outside with little cars and go outside and driving around, right? These things are causing our children to be active. But now we would just buy a simple tablet, and they are doing all the activities by being in a static position for a long period of time. So most of the issues that we would get earlier, we tend to have it at a much younger age. So these are the things that we're supposed to be paying attention to. Be very careful. Think twice about the gifts that we would rush to accept, and pay particular attention to the gifts that would cause you to be more active. And it doesn't even relate to a child. What about an adult, right? Instead of buying, even though these gifts are good, but you could buy a gift that would cause somebody to be a little bit more active.
Understood. And I love the fact that you touched on everything, because we went from injury prevention to identification of the areas, risk factors, diet, rehabilitation. And I just want to thank you so much for being a part of Brunch today, Roston. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. And from all family to yours, we wish you blessings and success in whatever you endeavor to do.
Thank you, and same to you.
And guys, we're going to take a break, but before we do that, our trivia question for today: this hidden wildlife gem is nestled in the hills of Mason Hall. What is its name? The answer at the end of the show. We're going to be right back with more Brunch, a taste of Tobago. We are looking forward to you being here, so come on back. We'll see you guys soon.